I oftentimes feel the need to rush in life, like I'm going to miss something big if I don't. I see people around me and on social media having successful careers, getting married, buying their dream home, starting a family, and I looked at the stark reality of my own life. And this quiet but persistent fear would bubble up within me. I have to do something or else I'm gonna fall behind. So my brain eventually became hypervigilant of all the things I needed to do more of, and I'd push myself to work more and more and burn out, and I'd repeat this process over and over again in life, without much to show for it. And I thought this was normal for me. But the past few months, I started to get into doing inner healing work, and I realized my fear of falling behind in life was actually the very reason I was experiencing patterns of being behind in life. Like, I was kind of subconsciously manifesting it. So I decided it was time to flip the script by healing my negative subconscious beliefs that were perpetuating this pattern in life, and see if reality changed too. And it did. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe I got lucky. But I worked on healing two subconscious beliefs within me in May: the fear of being seen and my belief that I was falling behind in life. And in June, I published a video that did really well compared to my previous 50 to 90 view average that I was getting before. And I ended up getting monetized, so thank you everybody who watched that video, my fear of being seen video. I love you all. So yeah, in today's video, I want to talk in depth about exactly what subconscious beliefs can cause the sense of feeling behind in life, and how exactly I reprogram my subconscious beliefs, so that instead of feeling like I was behind in life all the time, I now can live more intentionally in order to manifest actual forward momentum in my life. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I learned to do this. So for me, I find this sense of feeling behind in life stems from mainly two inner beliefs: the belief that it is bad to slow down and rest, and I am not doing enough, or essentially, I am not enough. So what oftentimes happens when we believe slowing down or resting is bad is we start to develop fear pertaining to slowing down and resting. And this can oftentimes manifest in life as being impatient because things aren't moving fast enough. Your mind is always thinking about work or ways to be productive even when you are resting. You don't know how to truly rest aside from sleep. You may have constant cycles of working hard and burning out. You may have health issues that force you to rest, or you may have trouble healing health issues so they remain constant. You fill your life with so many things to do that you barely have time to slow down and rest. You find yourself in a pattern of others constantly expecting you to do more, even though you do a lot already. The time you are putting into your work is not showing returns, and you feel like you're wasting time. You constantly try to cover up the feeling of being tired through coffee, energy drink, sugar, or something else, so that you always stay productive. So you probably don't have all these signs because it's just going to differ between people, but these are the ways I've seen it come up within myself and in others around me. But yes, I oftentimes see the pattern that when we believe resting or slowing down is bad, we suppress that part of ourselves. And oftentimes this later becomes a deep subconscious wanting to rest that one just keeps ignoring because we think, if I'm being productive, isn't that a good thing? But eventually, as we stop listening to this need, it manifests in the external as the body just succumbing to rest in some way. Like for me, back in May, my arm randomly started to hurt so much I couldn't even pick up a glass of water. So I ended up having to take a break in order to heal it, to slow down. Or perhaps another way it can manifest is we work and work from a state of being extremely tired, and the work just doesn't take off like we expect it to. It feels like we're just wasting time with not much to show for it. And this is why, even though one can spend all their life doing their best to outrun the fear of falling behind in life, it kind of ends up manifesting in the end. or it just keeps getting passed down from parent to child, and the cycle doesn't end. And the root of all this is that one's self-worth is tied to what you do. Like you learned at some point in life that in order to be accepted and loved, you had to earn it. You had to do more and more, and it just became a never-ending cycle because self-worth, love, and acceptance was never meant to be earned in the first place. Like, it doesn't work like that. That prize of being loved and accepted isn't even there at the end, despite everything we try to do to earn it. So how does one heal these inner beliefs? The way I like to heal deep-rooted inner beliefs in the subconscious is by doing two things: seeing and accepting. Seeing means bringing what is unseen in the subconscious up to the conscious mind, so you become aware of your inner beliefs that are still controlling your life. And accepting means instead of ignoring, denying, or suppressing that wounded part of yourself, accept it. Like, give that version of you a hug. And I believe when we do this over and over again, especially to the wounded version of oneself, we learn to unconditionally love ourselves, and this heals the wound. Because wounds of the psyche usually form because there was an aspect of love that was more skewed, and learning how to unconditionally love yourself breaks that pattern and allows the wound to finally heal. So this is what I'm going to show you how to do today. So I've already pointed out what inner beliefs usually cause the perception or fear of being behind in life. So I will just say, as you live life, try to be aware of when you start judging yourself, when you are doing something more slowly than others, or whenever you notice yourself trying to avoid the feeling of being tired. Just be aware that you are doing it. This is the seeing portion. And you don't have to do this all the time. Most of life, we just need to chill and just let ourselves be. But when we feel called to heal a certain part of ourselves, to break specific patterns in life, this is when we want to be a little bit more aware so that we can do the inner healing work. And as for the accepting part, I will be using a guided self-talk method. Oftentimes the way to identify the wounded self is as you do this self-talk method, you may feel negative emotions come up from within you, whether it be fear, sadness, guilt, shame, or whatever emotion it may be. Essentially, you may feel triggered when this happens. And what you want to do is you want to feel those emotions come up and give that version of yourself a hug and accept yourself. And as one does this over and over again, eventually the triggering gets less and less until it disappears, and usually that signifies that the wound has healed. So that is the complete rundown. Essentially, imagine that these emotions are like your inner child, and you want to give yourself the love and acceptance that perhaps you didn't receive back then. So first, we must recognize that there are two sides to ourselves that the mind tends to identify itself as: the self that is slow and resting, and the self that is fast and productive. And to unconditionally love yourself, you must see and accept both sides to yourself. So say to yourself, it's okay to be slow, and it's okay to rest. It's not bad to be slow at something. And it's not bad to need to rest. I see and accept myself even when I'm moving slowly in life, and even when I'm resting. And just be aware of and accept any negative emotions that may come up. What I also recommend is taking an actual break and resting if you've gone a long time without resting. And I'm not talking about just sleeping. Like, take a break from work, especially if you're the type who is constantly working, and become aware of all the fear, guilt, and avoiding tendencies that may pop up when you do rest. And also accept the you that moves fast in life too. Say to yourself, it's okay to move fast and be productive. It's not bad to progress quickly and be productive. I see and accept myself even when I'm moving fast in life. And the reason I say this is because most people have a fear of moving slowly in life, but also some people fear life when it gets too fast too. And oftentimes, what happens when one starts the process of unconditionally loving yourself, no matter what speed you go, that's actually when life tends to speed up because the wound is starting to heal. So if it does, accept yourself, even if things move fast in your life. And this just helps so you are less likely to self-sabotage yourself. So yes, see and accept both sides to yourself. The you that is slow, does nothing, and needs rest, and the you that is moving fast and being productive. Eventually, you'll find the balance that works best for you. Like, what I found to be the case with doing subconscious healing work is that you don't need to force yourself to behave or act a certain way. Instead, you just naturally shift into the new identity. So just allow yourself to shift as the new ideas and desires come to you. So now, let's work on the belief of I'm not doing enough. So what you want to say to yourself is, it's okay to not do enough. It's okay to feel like I'm not enough. It's not bad to not be doing enough. I see and accept myself even when I feel like I'm not doing enough. And just accept whatever negative emotions come up when you say this to yourself, and give that version of you a hug. And something else I've been doing alongside the self-talk method is whenever I feel like I start judging myself for going slow in life or resting, I tell myself, even this is enough. And what I found is that repeating this to myself helps merge the two identities together. The me that isn't enough and the me that is enough. Because I believe probably what happens when someone lives most of their life believing love is earned is you build a very high baseline for what you believe will be enough to earn that love. One that is very hard to reach. So saying to yourself, even this is enough, helps to lower that baseline and the expectations you put on yourself gradually over time to one that accepts yourself just as you are, no matter what. And yeah, that is how to do the healing process on a subconscious level. So next, I want to talk about the 3 different phases of rest I noticed as I was doing this inner healing work and how to work with each phase. Because rest can actually be the most productive thing you do for your life if you know what each phase means and what actually is subconsciously happening within you during each phase. So the first phase is where you feel the discomfort come up if you have the subconscious belief that resting is a negative thing for you. That's where the fear, anxiety, and guilt can pop up, and you just want to do that self-acceptance talk that we went through earlier. This first phase is where you want to release all the negative emotions and beliefs that you have within you that are essentially trapped in your body, and you just want to feel it and let it go. So it's kind of like you're emotionally detoxing yourself so that you can enter the next phase of rest from a clear slate. The second phase of rest is when you actually truly rest. This is when your body finally feels at peace because it's no longer holding on to that fear of resting, and you can actually allow yourself to fully rest. This phase is also when your body can heal from a more optimal place. Like your body is healing all the time, naturally, but sometimes I have found that when someone has a very deep subconscious belief that resting is bad, like that actually manifests as them not being able to get good sleep. So be aware of when you're in this phase of rest and take your time to fully enjoy it. The third phase of rest is the phase I particularly like to pay attention to. This is the phase in which your body has had enough rest and starts to get antsy to get back to work and being productive, to creating. And what I personally did was I sat in that energy instead of going immediately back to work. Why? Because I noticed my attention in life, like what I was noticing around me, was shifting. I started getting new ideas and epiphanies of changes I wanted to make, particularly with this YouTube channel. And this really helped me hone my craft and make my YouTube videos better. And this actually happens because there's an internal shift happening within you. Like, it seems very small, something anybody should be able to do at any moment. But what oftentimes happens when somebody is working from a state of being overworked and tired is they subconsciously choose ways that self-sabotage their success in a way. This is because one's inner self is screaming at them, I want to rest, I don't want to work. And this actually reflects into the work that they produce. And this can be the reason why something you've worked on for so long doesn't take off, because they are subconsciously avoiding all the ways that will cause their work to take off. Because, yeah, they subconsciously want rest, not to work more. However, when you rest, you flip that script. You now are in a state where your inner self is screaming at you, I want to work. And thus, I believe one subconsciously attracts ideas that will cause you to want to work more, or you experience your work taking off in some way. So what you want to do in this third phase of rest is pay attention to what ideas and epiphanies you get. And if it's something you haven't tried before, try it. You must be flexible to change, because this is how your life will change. Be open to a different way of doing things, because this is how you integrate the identity shift. But yes, allow yourself to rest for whatever amount of time feels right to you. Like, everyone is going to need differing periods and systems for resting, and I'm still currently in a phase where I'm working that out for myself. But the way I'm doing this is I'm trying to find ways to make more room for rest in my life. Like, after I finish a project or create a YouTube video, I'm allowing an extra day to decompress, rest, and celebrate, instead of instantly focusing my attention on the next project. Or like, when I notice myself feeling tired, I let myself feel tired and listen to it, instead of chugging more coffee and carrying on working. Or at least I try to. And, it's up to everyone's own judgment whether we should rest or keep working. But the thing I'm trying to do more is pay attention to the feeling of being tired, because it's important. I want to take care of my body, and doing so means letting my body rest when it needs rest. And I hope this video can inspire you to see that rest is important too. In a world in which we are constantly being pushed to be more productive and catch up with an ever-changing world, I want to remind you that it's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest. It's okay to do nothing. There is goodness in it. And you might experience something surprising like I did when you finally allow yourself to rest more. See what happens. And as for being enough, I have found that the issue in life isn't really that we need to attain a belief of the highest self-worth, because everyone is already worthy to the highest degree you could imagine. Like, I kind of don't see the point in the word itself, because you exist, and so of course you are worthy. Instead, I like to see it as it's more about taking care of yourself when you feel unworthy, or you feel like you're not enough or not doing enough. And just being aware when we are feeling this way to simply accept ourselves and love ourselves just as we are. And eventually we'll learn to see that we are, in fact, worthy all along. And everyone around us is too. And yeah, that is everything I wanted to talk about in this video with you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye!